Toastmasters. Do you know? Do you know what is the number one fear of the world when we talk about phobias?
Public speaking.
Public speaking, glossophobia, it's called. And trust me, when I started this journey 5, 6 years ago, the number one fear at that time was recalled by some of the surveys. They used to say it was terrorism. Number two was because of the COVID when it came in, even at that time, it was germs. And number three was heights. And number four and five, somewhere we used to have public speaking. But now, as more and more people who are engineers, accountants, doctors, now they really need to come and speak out. So it's turning out to be the number one fear of the world for many years now. So it's called glossophobia. And when I talk about glossophobia, it does not just mean that you need to come on the stage and host an event. It also means that maybe in a meeting, you were asked to share your opinion. You were asked to say that, what do you think about this idea? And there are probably 10, 15 people in the room. So I'm not talking about 400, 500 people. I'm just talking about a small crowd. And sometimes your glossophobia even shows up with one person when you're giving an interview. So this can show up anywhere. Your fear of public speaking does not exactly mean that you're talking to an auditorium. It can also mean that you're going for something as simple as an interview, a job interview, or maybe you are about to give your thesis and practical in your exams, or you're going for IELTS and TOEFL or embassy, and even those interviews freak you out. So today we are going to take up some tips and tricks that I have gathered in my humble experience around table topics. And yes, by chance, I have been acing it. So apparently when I take part in table topics, it really works. So I wrote down what works for me, and I would really like you all to give it a shot. Number one, very important. I want you to write down in a piece of paper, make a diary, write 50 incidents of your life. You can start with 10 incidents per day or 5 incidents per day, and by 10 days, you finish off the list. So I want you to write your first memory as a child, and then next to it, I want you to write the feelings. What did you have? I want you to write about your first bicycle, and next to it, I want you to write fear, excitement. Then I want you to write your first day of school. And next to it, I want you to write maybe you were very happy, or if you were very fearful. So I want you to write topic and next to it, the feelings. And I will tell you why this formula. Then I want you to write about your favorite teacher, your favorite mentor. I want you to write the topic where you felt you remember one or two places when your heart was full with love for your mother, your father, or your grandmother, grandfather. Then I want you to write the first time you tried skating, maybe driving a bike, driving a car. Then I want you to remember your first day at university, your first day at work, your first interview, your failed interview. And I want you to write some of the incidents where it was funny. For example, for me, falling from my skating was very funny for me now when I think. At that time, I was very embarrassed, but now it is funny because I swing, my legs were in the air and my head was down. So, figure out few incidents, and I want you to please gather 50 of them. This can also include your best friend, an incident with the best friend, an incident with your neighbor, an incident with your child, with your spouse. How did you first propose? How did you feel love? So, lots of small incidents. You know what happens, dear Toastmasters? When you're about to write that point, you will in your mind rewind that situation and you will relive that story. Table topics are best when you share a story. Everybody wants to hear your story. If you try remembering that whenever you attempted a table topic where you were just talking philosophy, for example, what is happiness for you? and you would say that, happiness is so important for life. It makes the world go round. Happiness is essential for us. It makes us have good feelings. It makes chemical reaction. Imagine you talk like this for 1 minute. And on the other hand, if I say, what does happiness mean to you? And you say, happiness for me is when my child first called my name. Happiness for me is when my child walked and ran up to me slowly, raising up the hand, and you share that incident. I woke up in the morning, my wife started screaming, and then I ran up. I went to the TV side, and I saw my son was holding the couch. I said, why did you call me? She said, wait for it. And we were standing there for 5 minutes. I was about to leave the room, and suddenly I noticed my son started walking towards me. That is happiness for me. So I have shortened it, but when you tell a story, a plot, characters, dialogues, this will only happen if the story is here in your memory. Dear timer, you have to time me at 10 minutes, 12 minutes, and 15 minutes. I thought I did my 10 minutes. I just started. Thank you. So 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes. So the story would only come if you relive it, if you think of it again. Imagine sitting between friends and you talk about one of the incidents. So 50 topics, very important. Now, I asked you to write feeling next to it, correct? I said right next to it, whether that incident was exciting for you, it was happiness, maybe somebody very close to you passed away. So you don't only have to write happy topics, you also have to write sad topics, fearful topics, somewhere where you were very scared. Maybe somewhere, God forbid, you had an accident. Write about that. And next to it, you write, how did you feel? Why that feeling helps you? Because when I give you a topic, share about the time when you were most fearful in your childhood. Share about a time where you felt scared. Share about a time when you were most happy. So, these are what excites you in life. This topic is very common. What excites you in life? Where is your inspiration coming from? What inspires you? These topics, they will help you to make a story. So you will immediately remember your 50 topics, and you will remember few topics which had the word exciting. And in those 10 seconds, you will relive the topic and share a story. So one of the ways to ace table topic is sharing a personal story. Sometimes those stories can also be of your sister, brother, friend. You can put it on yourself, change the character, and share it. But stories make wonders. Second attempt of doing a topic is prep. PREP is the short form for preparation, right? But here it means point, reason, explain, point. Now, if I give you an example that who would you like to have a dinner with from history? So make a point. I would like to have dinner with Nelson Mandela. Give a reason. The reason is that he did so and so and things. He was a revolutionary. He did so much for humanity. He awoken the courage. He's the reason, he's one of the examples of revolution, of human rights. You will give an example then. For example, if I get to meet Nelson Mandela for dinner, I will share with him that why do I love him? And then you close. So all in all, as for the question, who would I like to have dinner with in the historical figure? It would be Nelson Mandela. So you close it again with the point. So this example, this preparation prepares you for every question which does not have the story. So not every question might have story, right? Some questions, they want logics next to you. So prep actually helps you out doing that. I will share one more example that I had, which I was using. Okay. Is it better to be an early riser or a night owl? Is it better to be an early riser or night owl? Now imagine, can you bring a story in this? You can. You can talk about your time when you were in university and you used to learn more better in the night because your mommy did not wake you up to go for yogurt. Your father did not say, bring me coffee from here and there. Your brother was not teasing you. Your little baby sister was not coming and throwing food at you. Make it humorous. And you can say, that's why I like to be night owl because I can study better. Another option is that you can do it with the prep. So one was the story, another is prep. So you would say, for instance, morning, first of all, you will say point. Morning are typically quieter, better. It makes me focus much better. You will give reason. Reason is I need to have quiet time. I need to sit in the nature. I like to sit in my balcony, listen to the birds and do my study better. You will give an example. Most of the CEOs in the world, when they share their timetables, they say that they wake up early. For example, Steve Jobs used to wake up early. Elon Musk used to wake up early. Warren Buffett used to wake up early. They say they start their morning at 5 a.m. So this is a reason. And then again, so if you ask me whether I would like to be a night owl or an early riser, I would select early riser and close it. So the places where you can bring story, you can still bring story, but prep can help you out if you're not able to get a story. And by repeating, for example, so the question that I got is whether I would like to be an early riser or a night owl. I would love to be an early riser. By repeating, what did I do? I took 10 seconds extra. And my mind is just repeating. The words are coming out, but my brain is trying to find the reason. So, why? What's the next reason? So it helps you do that. Thirdly, dear Toastmasters, whenever you get a topic for table topics, you have 10 seconds to think. The timer will start at two positions. One, your first movement or utter of word, or at 10 seconds. So the timers are always told that they have to start timing after 10 seconds. So 10 seconds is a good time to have a bit of a thought. And once you start your speech, try repeating the topic if you're not getting a content. If you have the content, then don't repeat the topic. Then try to directly dive into a scene that, imagine this, something like that. So all in all, there are 3 tips for you to ace in table topics. Number 1, I request you to form a 50 topics incidents of your personal life. Put emotions next to it. And once you write down, you relive those stories. Number 2, prep. Point, reason, example, point. And number 3, take those 10 seconds, repeat the topic. So you get extra total of 20 seconds to think around it. And by repeating and giving the point answer, you get the chance to form a little bit of content in your mind. I hope it makes a difference. Don't forget to summarize in the end of your topic. So if you have any questions, I'm open to answer.
Like, can I ask you?
Yes, please.
I want to review because I like I have ADHD, so sometimes I couldn't understand what is said.
Okay. So have you tried table topics before?
Yeah, I'm very great in table topics.
So how many times have you tried table topics?
I couldn't count, but I've tried a lot.
A lot of times. So
Yeah.
there are a few things I have told you right now. So by the way, I have ADHD too. I have a lot of stress symptoms, but now I have figured out how to fight it. So lots of things when we usually look for the formula to fight it out. So number 1, I told you to write maybe 10 incidents of your life. Just pick up 10 incidents of your life, important incidents from your childhood, from your school age, from your work, with your spouse, with your children, with your parents, with your best friend, 10 topics, 10, 15 topics only, write it down. Just the heading. Okay.
If I couldn't count them, can I write them less or more than 10?
You can. I'm just giving you a number. I just said 10, 15. So anything that you can do, but have enough topics that enough incidents that you could do storytelling.
Mhm.
Okay, so try to remember the time when you first day you went to school. Try to remember the time when you did a mischief and you were caught by your parents with your best friend. So you were doing something very naughty and you were caught and you got in trouble. Write that topic.
Okay.
Okay, write about the topic when you tried bicycle and you fell
Okay.
very badly, you got hurt.
Okay.
Try
Okay.
remembering the time when you were wounded, you know, you got so badly hurt that there was blood. Try
Okay.
remembering that time and write it. So these
Okay.
incidents, and try remembering your birthdays, the best birthday that you had, some
All right.
best gift that you got. These incidents, they help you settle down in the topic. So when you get a topic which can relate to that incident, you will have a story ready in your mind
All right.
because you relived it. When you were writing down, you were reliving it,
All right.
right? So it's
All
like,
right.
you know,
Got it.
repeating like a movie in your head. So that makes a memory pattern for you. So when you get a topic, that share an incident where you were scared. So you can share the incident where you fell and there was blood. So you immediately remember because you wrote down in that list. So I hope that helps, dear Mohammed.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Any other question?
Thank you very much. I mean, I thought about the numbers you said. I thought that those are limited numbers, like could
No,
not
no,
be less
whatever
than
you're
that.
comfortable with.
All
50,
right.
I said because I did 50. I did 50, but it took me around 1 week to do 50.
All right.
So I would, you know, walk in the car, I would sit, I would try to remember. Then I would look at some old pictures to remember some incidents. So I made 50 and that really works amazing with me. So that's me sharing exactly how I do it at Table Topics. So I hope it helps you more.
Thank you very much.
All right. Anyone else has a question? Oh, come on, it's Table Topics. There has to be a question. Was it too good or was it too off? Tell me.
Too good. Too good. Very good.
I'm very glad. Just remember, it's nothing unique, by the way, dear all. We all get feared. The best speaker in the world, for example, let's pick up Tony Robbins. Do you know what does he do before he goes on the stage? He jumps on the trampoline. He tries to wear off his nervousness. So, you know, he jumps on the small trampoline and he goes off. There is another trainer who keeps that, you know, punching bags. So he punches on the bags before he goes to the stage. I talk to myself. So before going to the stage, before 10 minutes of going to stage, I go to the washroom, I talk to myself. We all fight with our nervousness. Table Topics helps us find our formula. So do you have a question, Toastmaster Kent?
Yes, it's not about structuring, it's about eliminating filler words during
Okay.
table topics, because you talked about taking 10 seconds to think, and at least for me, having the filler words is tough to try to stop.
Yes. So thank you so much for the question. Beautiful one. By the way, in my very first table topic, I remember I had 36 filler words. And the reason I have accepted my filler words, I have told my filler words that I want to replace you with pauses. And I did this practice. So I ended up doing a lot of practice in every table topics. And I would specially ask the R counter that, can you please write down to me how many R's and ums and repetitive words I did? Because we don't realize that we are using filler words, right? So the R counters used to help me out every meeting, I would say, and I would count. And I made a point that wherever I'm stuck with a word, I will take a pause. I will just hold on. So by taking a pause, see how you got hook? But instead of this, I would just take a pause. So imagine both the statements. Instead of saying or saying pause, I would just take a silence of half a second. That silence will help me get the right word. And it's absolutely fine to take a pause. Pauses are your friends. Filler words are your enemies. They make you look nervous. They make you look lack of confidence. Whereas pauses gives command, it gives authority. So I would request you that attend as much as meetings possible. Ask Toastmaster DTM Meltem to help you out going in some other clubs also, and take table topics. Take for sure table topics and test yourself that how many hours you used, and try to replace them with the pause. Whenever you feel like saying, oh, just take a break, just stop and take a pause instead of bringing that, because what happens is that when we are talking, when we can't find the words, we go like, and then we do like that because we are so scared of the pause that if the silence will come, I will look weak. This is what we think. But silence is your friend. It's used by authority, and you will inshallah get it with practice. I assure you, for the next 5 to 6 table topics that you do, test yourself to use pause. You cannot do it 100% of the time, but try doing it at 2-3 places and make a diary of how many ahs and ums you used on 10th of September, how many you used on 12th of September, how many on 15, how many on 20. And this way, I want you to check after 1 month that did your ahs reduced or not. And I challenge you, your ahs will reduce. So that's my tip to you, Toastmaster Ken. Any other questions someone has?
Erum, I would like to ask one question about
Yes, please.
the topic you mentioned. Let's say you're a screenwriter, okay, and you have this amazing idea you want to sell to a producer, and then you just get in the elevator and suddenly that producers get in the elevator as well, and you have, let's say, 10 seconds to pitch your idea, but you're not ready. Your story is not ready. So would you take that risk and say what's in your mind, or you just say, oh, okay, let's postpone this and I will find him somewhere, world is small, blah, blah.
It's a wonderful question, Toastmaster Murad. Amazing. So in my experience, by the way, there was a time in initial of my career when they used to say 30 seconds elevator pitch. Do you remember? 30 seconds elevator pitch. Do you know what it is now? 7 seconds. It is 7 seconds of putting an impression, because we are now social media people. We now don't have that kind of patience. In those days, we used to have patience. So we used to give a person 30 seconds, which means, Murad, I want you that if you are thinking that your job is such that you would bump into people and there might be a chance that your boss, your CEO, your producer might bump into you, you always have to walking, thinking, you have to manifest how would you talk to him. First of all of you need to have a crisp introduction of yourself. 15 seconds introduction. My name is Erum. I'm a corporate trainer. I come from the background of Microsoft, Cisco, IBM, and APC. I was thinking if we could get along and I could share my experiences around effective communication. Let me know if you have time. I know because you're running right now. So do you think I could pass on my number? Because I could make a huge difference. I've been working with bringing in 40% of improvement in the sales team. That's it. Your introduction, you ace it, you write it down, go to ChatGPT, tell it to give me nice words. Your crisp introduction. When a person will listen to you till 7 seconds with interest, there is a very high chance they would listen more. And by the way, in the lift, you do not need to give him the proposal, right? You just need to get a hook that he tells you, why don't you come to my office in next half an hour? Let's meet up tomorrow morning at 10. You need this. So for that, it is important that you tell them, I know you're busy and I just caught you off guard, but this is what I do. Let me know if I could add value. So you need to just bring in that to 15 seconds with a very smart way of starting. And Murad, what else you can do? Have a very nice, energetic tone. By the way, if you don't talk to him, it's a lose. But if you talk to him, it's a 50% win. So when you don't do something, you don't get it at all. But if you try, there is a chance of winning. Why lose that chance, right? So have your introduction always ready with you. Always. This is for everybody in every field. This is a gift to yourself that, you know, I should always have a crisp, energetic introduction and practice it again and again and again in front of the mirror. I hope I've answered your question, Toastmaster Murad. Thank
Thank you. Great feedback.
Any other question? I'm acing this session. There are no questions. All
I
right.
have a
Oh,
question.
DTM Melton, where do we stand?
I actually have a question.
Yes,
if you may.
Toastmaster Akpol, yes.
I just want to ask, sometimes, when with the table topics, you're given an impromptu topic, and then you have to talk about it. What if I do not have anything related to the topic to talk about, but in some way I just hook it around and then I can deliver a speech that is not in line with the topic per se? What is the contribution of having a concise speech that is in line with the topic at hand against not related to the topic, but giving a good delivery?
Very nice. So my district winning table topic was, I wake up in the morning and there is no internet. So everybody talked about what would they do if there was no internet, right? So they would have a hard time. They would not be able to connect to the family. They will not be able to go on time. What I did was, I was not able to imagine that what would I do if there is no internet. So what I did is I put it on my husband. So I said that if there is no internet, I will be busy and having fun, whereas my husband would be panicking. And I started imagining what Ali would do if there is no internet. So I went off the topic because the topic was, what would I do? But I went on him. What happens in this case is, Toastmaster Sibanda, is that you come out to be the unique speaker. So you were on the topic, you changed it slightly because I did not have content for me. But I did know few incidents in the house where he freaked out. So remember the situations I asked you to write? So there was this situation also, that how did he behave once when Alexa was not working and things were not working. So I brought that topic on him and it won. It won because judges saw that 7 people were speaking in a similar pattern and one Toastmaster stuck to the topic, changing the character. Another option is, I have done that also before and I won. That was when I was asked that if you had a superpower between eating more or flying more, what would you take? So I said I would mix it up and I will become invisible. So if I get an option of that, I will mix it up. I will ask crypto that, mix both of these, make me invisible, and I will go ahead flying more and I will go ahead eating more. So I did something out of the box because by the time they told the topic, I couldn't connect selecting one. So I went on the third one. That also won. So the thing is, to answer your question, if you are not able to relate to the topic, you have to stick to some element of the topic and answer the question. So if you were asked that if there is no internet in the morning, what would you do? And if you go ahead saying that if I miss my flight, what I would do, that would not win up, right? So you have to stick to internet, but maybe change something else around that. So I hope I've answered the question. Great, thank you. If any other question or anything in the chat box, do we have?
Erum, one of the contests I have heard that the question is not a question, like a voice. No. A kind of voice. There's no exactly question. What is your advice or suggestion if there is interesting question you have never prepared, or just in this case, just a voice? What is your suggestion? Thank you.
Can you give me an example of the voice? You mean the question doesn't make sense to you?
One of the contests, they just shared the voice. I didn't attend that contest. Just voice, meaningless voice. There is no question, exactly question.
Really? I'm surprised. So you know what? Our table topics, thank you very much, DTM Meltem, and that's a very good thought. In our table topics, we are allowed to be creative, but we are not allowed to be creative in contest. In contest, it has to be English or Turkish or Urdu, whichever language the contest is happening in, it has to be a statement. But if you are in a club level, we could get creative. Sometimes in club level, we say that, you bring a doll and you say that, do a speech on the doll, do a speech on the pillow. It's possible that there is an element and you do speech. It is possible to do it in the club level. But if you have seen that in the official club contest, then let me tell you, DTM Melton, it's not allowed. The club contest says it has to be a statement. Now, for example, if the topic you have got is woo, right? So you just say, woo, this was the sound in the night when I just woke up at 2 a.m. And have a scary story around it. And in the end, you can close it by saying woo again and back to Table Topics Master. I would say that anything such creative, it makes you get out of the box. So, accept it. One of the mistakes that contestants or table topic speakers do is that if they don't understand the topic, they show that they are confused. And you win when you are confident. So even if it is a topic that does not make sense, do it with confidence. Just go ahead. Even if it is noise, just go ahead attempting it. Go ahead, take that chance. Just go ahead. And I would say just leave it to your best effort. Moreover, you will not win every time. You are not going to, because there has to be one winner, right? So you have to see that, are you impressing yourself? I did my best. It was just a sound and I made a story out of the sound and that's it. So maybe the topic is ting, ting, ting. And you would just go and say ting, ting, ting. And the bell rang in the school and we all started running and I tripled because of the lunch break. And something like, because there was a banana. And guess what happened when I tripped from the banana? Everybody laughed. And then they picked me up. So do it in that way. So I would say give it a shot. Thank you, DTM Melton. Anyone else?